And what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Inland Sports Show. I'm your host, Pep Fernandez. If you're watching us live and amplified right now, give us a like and subscribe to the Inland Sports Show YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it. Plus, we're all over social media, Twitter, Instagram. Still do Facebook a little bit, but hit us up on IG or Twitter, a.k.a. X. We'd love to find you there as well. So here's the deal. If you're watching us live at 7:30 on Wednesday night, we're going to do things a little bit differently for the rest of the summer. We're going to use it as a time to experiment a little bit. We're going to find out if maybe we should move the show back a little bit later in the evening. We've heard from some folks that they'd rather see the show later because people at 6 o'clock are still driving home or they're still getting out of practice. So we're kind of thinking of maybe pushing the show back to maybe like 7, maybe 7:30 at the latest. I don't want to make it too late to spill into the evening, but it'd be maybe like right after dinner time, something like that. So anyways, long story short, you might not see the Inland Sports Show at the normal 6:05 time. We might experiment with a couple different staggered times through the rest of the summer and try to make a decision by the time football season rolls around. And then also, we've been doing the show from home the last couple of weeks. We might be back in the Teen Vision TV 16 studio for another show or two, but we might also find some alternate locations as well. So we're experimenting with that too. So the Inland Sports Show might look and sound a little bit different in the coming weeks as we try some things out and try to bring you the best sports coverage as we get ready for the high school football season. So with all that said, let's talk some high school football. A little bit later in the show, we're going to check in with one of our favorite guys, Coach Agno at Aquinas. We'll talk Falcon football, plus his Joystick U. Listen, I know all you guys out there, you love to play video games. A lot of you stream as well, and you stream playing the video game as well, which it's a thing. I didn't know that. It's a thing. People watch you play video games. So we'll talk to Coach Agno about that. We also got our good friend Geoff Gorham from Riverside TV as we talk about a lot of the re-leaguing. I don't know if a lot of folks know as we go into the high school football season, a lot of teams are in new leagues. And so we'll kind of break that down. We also have Mattie Beliveau, the Hillcrest high school softball star, taking her talents to the Wisconsin Badgers. So we'll talk about that as well. But we'd lead things off with the Redlands Terriers. Now, Redlands High School and Beaumont will open up the season in week 0-0. They're going to play on the road at Hawai'i in a doubleheader. And we're going to hear from Coach Bob Stangel from the Long Blue Line in just a moment to talk about how the Terriers are preparing for this game and coming off a great season in which they made the playoffs, won a playoff game, in fact, as well. And next week, full disclosure, we're going to have Jeff Steinberg from Beaumont on the show next week to talk about their plans for this Hawai'i trip and open up the season before everybody else. Coach Steinberg is on a special trip with his family, flag football out there at the Football Hall of Fame, Canton, Ohio. So we'll have Coach Steinberg on the show next week. But for right now, let's hear from Coach Stangle at Redlands High School talking about his Terriers this upcoming season and, of course, opening the year in week 0-0 on the road in Hawai'i, taking on Radford. Join us here on the Inland Sports Show. He is the head coach of the Redlands Terriers, and it's always a good time to talk Terrier football, but a really good time, a good opportunity to break down the upcoming season because Redlands High School, the Long Blue Line, will kick off the year in Hawai'i. The legendary Bob Stangel, head coach of the Terriers, join us here on the show. And Coach, there could be worse places, I guess, to kick off the season than Hawai'i. How did this all come together for you guys?
Well, when I was with Coach Walker and his staff, he took 2 teams to Orlando in 2006 and 2011. It was a great trip. We won both games, although I was a part of the 2011 team. And I thought, when I took over in 22, we had a bunch of young guys, and I thought they were going to be pretty good, and they were sure to the point where we could do something exciting and something different. And I thought it would be a great experience, so I contacted KSA Events, who helped us along the way going to Orlando back in 2011, and they've helped us along the way. And we've had, fundraisers and people get involved, and got a team to play over there, and we're excited about it. We're leaving on the 13th of August, which is a Tuesday, and we're going to play on the 15th, which is a Thursday, against Radford High School.
Coach, that feels like it's right around the corner now to kick off the high school football season. So I'm just curious, like the CIF calendar is normally set for everybody else, based on when your first game is like when you can come out and practice for real, and bring out the helmets and pads for the first time. So does that mean your calendar is going to look a little bit different than most everybody else?
Yeah, we have it's called a week 00 game, and it had to be approved by CIF. We start a week early, so on Monday we're going to give out helmets. We have to go through that 3 to 5 day period, but we're going full go. We just got back from our dead week, our dead period, which was 2 weeks, and we started last Monday. So we have 2 weeks of summer, and then we're into it. We're into practice, getting ready to play.
So the schedule.
I was
going to say with 2 byes, because the schedule with week 0, there's already a built-in bye week for everybody somewhere in the schedule. A lot of them take it week 5 before league play starts. But for you guys, you're going to have 2 bye weeks, right? How is that going to work out with your schedule?
I think it's going to work out well. I spent 15 years in college, and we played a long season, obviously, and had some byes incorporated there. But we're going to play 2 games. So we're going to be at Radford in Hawai'i. We're going to play Citrus Hill. Then we go on a bye. And then we have Chaffee High School, and then San G. Then we have another bye, and then we go Riverside Poly, and then we go into CBL play. But I think it's going to be good because you get time to rest up, you get time to evaluate, get everything in order, work the kinks out, and I don't think it adds to the grind of the season. I think it makes us, prepares us better, gives us better opportunity to evaluate what we have and what we're doing.
Yeah, that's a good non-league schedule. I know San G's on the rise. Of course, Riverside Poly is a great tune-up right before CBL play for you guys. Coach, talk about last season and the success that you guys were able to enjoy towards the end of the year and into the playoffs, and how that hopefully might carry over into this season for you guys.
Yeah, last year I thought I definitely think we're trending upwards. We have 19 to 20 starters coming back this year. Which says a lot. We didn't have a lot of experience when I took over. We had a lot of young players. But we were fortunate enough to win enough games to go in the playoffs. We got to the second round. We were beaten by the eventual champion Torrance. They beat us 21-14 in the quarters. So I think, going to the playoffs is not just going to the playoffs, but experiencing the playoffs and the extended season and what it takes to get there. Like I was telling you earlier, it's funny because I feel like we're Vanderbilt playing in the SEC. We got CV, Beaumont, and Cajon, and obviously Ukaipa. They're like Georgia, Alabama, and LSU, and we're just trying to hold on and build the program and compete with those guys. But the CBL, from top to bottom, is obviously one of the toughest leagues in both counties, and with the best coaches. Our coaches are second to none in the CBL. So we're looking to build on our success from last year. I think we have a lot of confidence going in. We're a lot bigger, a lot stronger. We have the right combination of players and coaches, and I think we're gonna be more competitive and have a better year than last year. Last year we were 6-6, and like I said, got beat by Torrance in the quarters.
Coach, you mentioned having returning players and obviously guys that have been in your program for several seasons now. I'm thinking, like Teddy McGee, he's, a great running back. I mean, so does it help now that you've kind of been there for a couple seasons and you've had guys maybe come up through JV or whatnot, you've had them in the program for a little bit so they know what the expectation is, they know what what you're wanting out of them? Yeah.
It's weird because it's almost like, clockwork. We still have the enthusiasm, we still have the tempo, and we still have everything going. Like I said, I think we had 40 in the program. Now we're up to 95. We have over 40 freshmen coming in. But definitely when you have returners, that have been in the system 2 or 3 years, is definitely an advantage. Everybody that comes by says, wow, you guys are so much bigger and look stronger and faster. And I say that's maturity, because when you take a 15-year-old, now he's 17 or 18, there's a big difference. And I think that the one thing that we've tried to do along the way was, implement the infrastructure back into the program and get some of the consistency back, get us in the weight room. And it's definitely paid dividends. And Coach Haw, who is our offensive line coach and strength and conditioning coach, has done an incredible job, as well as the other coaches. And the players have, obviously bought in. The player, very rarely do we miss a lot of players, and they're here and they grind it out. Our slogan this year is never stop, because, when everybody else takes months at a time off, we're always grinding away. And the reason why we're off is because we had to take that mandatory 2-week dead period. So yes, it is definitely an advantage to have 56 players from last year back. Yes.
Yeah, you were saying too off the air that the numbers overall at RHS are up, right?
Yeah, like I said, I think we had 45. Now we're close to 95, and we have over 40 freshmen coming in, where they're here, and that definitely adds depth. We have an opportunity to go both way, or two platoon, service each other. Get players to develop. When you don't have very many players, you have to play a lot of young players, and they're thrown into the fire early instead of going through the freshman, the JV, and the varsity process. Which we all got to do, which helped us tremendously. But they didn't. But now with bigger numbers and more people in the program, obviously they have time to develop. They're just not thrown under the lights on Friday night, especially in our league. So it's really helped. Big numbers. Having larger numbers is definitely a plus.
All right, Coach, let's go back to Hawaii. Are the kids getting fired up about it? Are they starting to talk about it? I know it's a business trip, but you got to mix in a little fun, right?
Yeah. Well, we went through KSA events, and for anybody out there who's looking to do this, Ashley Hoffman is the person to talk to. She is our contact. She has been wonderful for KSA and KSA events, and they've done everything for us. But we have an itinerary, so we're going to fly in, and then they have it all set up for us. We're going to get on the buses, get over to the hotel, spend 2 days, run around the beach. We're going to do some snorkeling. We're going to go to Pearl Harbor. We're going to play on Thursday night. Friday night, we have a luau. We're going to eat at the Hard Rock Cafe. We're going to go to Oahu, and we're going to be down in Honolulu in Waikiki Beach at the Hawaiian Hilton. And so they got it all set up for us. They got the facilities set up. We got practice meeting rooms. We're going to eat. It's almost like, you take a college trip and you travel. You stay in a hotel and, you get up, you eat, and do all those things. But the kids are going to have a great time. They're really excited about it. The parents have been absolutely amazing with their support. And but like I told them, we got to have fun because the experience is number one, but it's a business trip. We've got to win the game. It's imperative that we come away with a win, so they all understand that while we enjoy the surroundings and the experiences that, winning the game is why we're going. But like I said, I think because we have so many kids back and they're so much more older and more mature that they're ready for this type of thing. And, not a lot of kids go on and play college, especially at a college where you can travel, so this would be a lifetime experience for them. So I'm excited for them, and they're excited. They're pretty excited.
Has any of the players told you, oh my gosh, Coach, this will be my first time, on a plane, or this is my first time It's going to be out of state or anything like that?
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up because a lot of kids do, and they're kind of nervous, and a lot of kids have. This is serious now. This is true. A lot of kids haven't been away from home, haven't been away from their mom, and that's a good thing. Our moms are great in our program, and our dads also, obviously. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of firsts for our players in terms of getting on the plane and going somewhere. And a lot of kids telling me, Coach, at 10:01, I'm out of my room. I'm going to be down on the beach. I'm going to surf at night. And I said, fine, just make it for the game, and we'll be okay. But, no, we have a curfew. But, we have such great kids at Redlands High School. It's absolutely amazing. It's an absolute pleasure to coach here and be able to take this group of young men to a place like Hawaii and play a game is it's unbelievable because our kids are wonderful. They really are. I'm very, very lucky. We are all very lucky to have our student athletes at Redlands High School.
All right, Coach, finally, because I know you got to get out to practice, but I'm just curious. I mean, what do you know about Radford? Have you had a chance to do any homework on them? And, were they pretty good last year? What kind of offense they run? Anything like that?
Well, it's funny. I was just in Oahu, 3 weeks ago, and we went over to St. Louis and we watched St. Louis practice. We went by Radford, and we've seen them on film. And Radford is where the kids go from the military base.
Oh.
The I guess the Navy and Marines were, the people who are stationed on Oahu at Pearl Harbor, their kids go to Radford.
Okay.
And they've got a lot of good players. They really do. There's a lot of schools over there. They play very, very competitively. There's only like 2 divisions. And Radford struggled a little bit last year, but they got a really good quarterback. They got really good coaching. They do some really, really good things defensively and offensively. So we got our work cut out for us. And we're excited about it. We think it's going to be a big challenge. I think we're going to be okay. Us and Beaumont are playing back to back. Beaumont's playing Kamehameha first at Radford, and then we're going to play Radford after that. So we're excited about that. The CBL is coming to the islands, man. We're coming, and we couldn't think of a better team, to play back to back with than Beaumont, because Coach Steinberg does an incredible job with that program, and they're a quality bunch. So we're going to go back to back, and those two schools are going to find out what CBL football is all about. Hopefully, we represent the CBL and the city of Redlands, and obviously the community with great pride, and we're excited about it. So, they're good though, and it's going to be a challenge. They got some good kids.
All right, finally, Coach. If people still want to support this trip, I know you said you guys did some fundraising to get you guys out there to Hawaii. Is there still opportunities there to help chip in?
Yeah, whatever, the kids who are going to Hawaii have gone through their fundraisers, but they would just need to contact me or our PTF treasurer, Parents for Terrier Football. It's our booster group. And we've had businesses, we do sponsorships like with banners, and they re-up in the banners, and then we put the money in and put it towards Hawaii and that kind of thing. But every dime helps, obviously. We're right at the end there. We've kind of paid up for everything, and we're all ready to go, because I think we're 22 days out or something like that. So we're pretty excited about it. But anytime anybody wants to contribute, we're more than willing. That's for sure, no doubt. We're welcome. So, but we're really excited about it. We're really excited about the season. I think we're going to be okay.
Well, Coach Stangle, listen, always appreciate the time. Very exciting that you guys get to open up with a very cool road trip to Hawaii. And I think 2 byes in the season. That's kind of interesting, too. Hopefully that'll play in your favor as the season progresses. So, Coach, thank you so much for joining us here on the Inland Sports Show. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate what you do for all the high schools. You guys are awesome, and we can't appreciate you enough. So thank you.
All right, a big thanks to Coach Stangle for that interview. Best of luck to the Terriers and Hawaii. And a quick programming note, next week on the show, we're going to have Beaumont head coach Jeff Steinberg joining us, because Beaumont and Redlands will be in Hawaii playing on the same night at the same place. It's a doubleheader, so good luck to our Citrus Belt League teams against those schools from Hawaii. When we come back here, more high school football. Geoff Gorham is around the corner as we talk about all the teams in our area that are going to be in new leagues next season, or this upcoming season, I should say, now that it's right around the corner. But first, we're going to check in with the Aquinas Falcons. That's next here on the Inland Sports Show. And this segment of the Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Kin Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and Letterman's jackets. Boost Performance Training in Corona. Athletes of all levels and all sports train at Boost. And also ask about the Bass Private School. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist you can trust.
Is it important to have your kid on the A team? Absolutely not. If you have some serious goals for your young athlete, don't forget to focus on the bigger picture. Instead of trying to get them on the A team, focus on finding them a good coach. Coaches who attract the best players aren't always great developers, whereas a coach who can instill what your child needs to reach their potential, that's priceless. Boost man.
The Inland Sports Show is proud to partner with Dr. Marcus Paulson and Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Dr. Paulson and his team work with children, teens, and adults using orthodontic products like traditional braces and Invisalign to make a difference in the appearance, comfort, and function of each patient's teeth. Paulson Orthodontics welcomes new patients, so schedule a visit today. Paulson Orthodontics. We make braces fun. And welcome back to the Inland Sports Show, live and amplified on this Wednesday night. If you're watching us live, it's a little bit later in the evening than normal. If you missed the beginning of the broadcast, we're going to experiment with the show for the next several weeks for the rest of the summer. We might make the show just a little bit later on Wednesday nights. Maybe it'll be on a Monday or Tuesday night. Maybe we'll do the show from a different studio. So we're trying to, experiment and see what's going to work best for you guys. And so I think going forward, we might do the show still on Wednesday nights, but instead of our usual 6:05 p.m. kickoff time, might push it back to 7:05, maybe 7:30. That gives more people a chance to get home after work, get home after practice, maybe grab a quick dinner, and then you can watch the show if you enjoy it live. I know most people, I would say a majority, watch the show archived, like on demand after the fact. So maybe by doing it a little bit later in the evening, more people can have a chance to actually watch the show live. So again, for the next several weeks through the rest of the summer, when I say the rest of the summer, probably the next 5 weeks or so, as we get ready for football season, we might be experimenting a little bit. So stay tuned to Inland Sports, especially by following us on social media where you can get updates on the show. Inland Sports, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. All right, now we're talking Aquinas Falcons football here. We're going to check in with one of our guys, Coach Agno, assistant head football coach for the Falcons. Also, starting Joystick U. I know for all you video gamers out there, you're all excited about the new college football game. I'm not even going to try to say the title of it because I'll probably get it wrong. I think it's NCAA 25 or something like that. Anyways, Coach Agno knows what I'm talking about. Check out Joystick U. Check out the Falcons as we talk to Coach Agno. But no head coach Jordan Brusig dodging my tough questions this week. And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show from the Aquinas Falcons. We just call him Coach Agno. His full name's on the screen. I'm not going to try to go there. But Coach Agno, the assistant head coach for the Aquinas Falcons, who has a new title as well out there at Aquinas. So, Coach, why don't you break the news to everybody?
Pat, my man, how's it going? So I recently accepted a job at the school. I've been with the Sheriff's Department for the last 11 years, and God opened the door and just prayed a lot about it and accepted a job as an administrator here at Aquinas, and I'm excited about that. I'm going to be the director of campus culture. I'm going to teach strength, and then I'll also be the assistant head coach for the football team and coach the receivers and the linebackers. So really excited about that. Definitely a tough decision that I made, and but just looking at the big picture and the family perks, getting to spend more time with the kids, and my son's going to be there in 4 years, and just knowing that I get to spend every day with him for 4 years and coach him and not miss it, and it was something I couldn't pass up. So the school made it work, and so here I am. Yeah.
And it sounds like it's going to be beneficial for you and the players because, you're going to be on campus all the time. I know it's hard for you guys, and I know the Sheriff's Department's awesome and you really enjoyed it, but it must have been hard, like working your job and then getting over to Aquinas, if you guys were practicing or training early in the morning or late at night, but now you're going to be on campus, right? It's going to be good for everybody.
Definitely. I was, I've been very lucky for the last 11 years with the Sheriff's Department. They were very supportive, of me coaching football and, being involved in the community. Very supportive, and I couldn't have asked for more, but it was definitely a strain, coaching football and turning men into boys and all that stuff. That's my, that was my first passion. And, I'm definitely passionate about, the work I did with the Sheriff's Department, and I'm going to stay on the department as a reserve deputy, which is cool. So that kind of keeps, keeps me on there as a level 1 reserve, and I get to stay active with the department. But yeah, being able to be on campus every day, and, for the last 11 years, I've been kind of stretching myself thin between like my family, the department, and Aquinas, and Jordan used to tell me, like, he used to call the sheriff's department my second job, and I guess now he can actually call it my second job. So
now it's appropriate. Well, let's talk about your third job, because before we get to Falcon football, listen, Coach, full disclosure, you already know this. I'm not a video game guy, and I know there's I think a new college football game came out, and everyone's freaking out. But I know you're a big video game guy, and I think you're getting into the streaming world now with Joystick U. Like, how did this all come together? What is this all about?
You know, it's crazy. I was talking to my wife, and when they announced the game, and well, they announced the game in 21, and then as things, I was skeptical, probably like most of us, like that the game was actually going to come out, you know, and you know, when it became real, I was like, you know, it's crazy. Like so many people are going to stream this game. Like the hype for this game, you know, 11 years in the making is like, it's crazy. I was like, you know what, like there's gonna be a lot of people streaming the game. Like through my last, you know, the 19 years I've been coaching football or whatever, I've met a lot of people and made some good relationships. And I know a ton of kids that are playing in college right now. Is like, no one's going to stream against like real college players. And I'm probably giving away my secret sauce right now, but you know, just using those connections to get some real college guys on, you know, on the stream. And honestly, I'm not trying to turn into an influencer or like make a career out of this. It's just something fun. I'm excited about the game. And you know, I've been playing that game since it was like Bill Walsh football in like 1995 or 96, and on Sega Genesis. It was a lot easier back then with, you know, 3 buttons, but yeah, so I just started this thing. I was messing around with the Mid-Journey AI one night, trying to make a logo and come up with names, and settled on Joystick U, you know, and it's fun, man. Like I said, it's more fun than anything if it turns into something. I think I did my first stream on launch day. I think I capped out like 12 people on there. Half of them were probably Aquinas players, which is cool, but you got to start somewhere. So, yeah, it was just me playing like Road to Glory. So, you know, it's something fun to do, and got a nice little setup going. So we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, Coach, I checked out of video games, I think, shortly after Super Mario and Tecmo Bowl. And I think it was a game called Contra. Do you remember Contra?
Oh, Contra? Yeah, it was like up, down, left, right, A, B, A, B,
Yeah.
start, select.
Yeah.
I think everybody our age knows that code still.
Yeah, that was my game. But Coach, something you said in here I want to circle back to is you want to compete or play with, like you said, like other college football players. I mean, you want to do something kind of unique like that. Your secret sauce.
Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I've streamed a couple times, and I just kind of streamed. So the first day I just streamed a little bit of the game. It was day one, just kind of getting used to it. And then yesterday I streamed and actually played with my son Cody on there. He was begging me to come on there, and like, all right, man, just hop on there. And if nothing else, he was entertaining to watch, you know, during the stream. So, but yeah, I actually have right now I have 5 kids committed to play the game. So I got Rajon Davis from USC, James Ferguson Reynolds from Boise State, who's like All-American punter, and my boy Armand Hawkins who's a coach now in Washington. He's gonna come on there. Francis Malagoa, who played for us a little bit before he went to IMG, he's at Miami. He's gonna come on. So Peyton Woodyard, I haven't put that one out there, but Peyton Woodyard, who played at Bosco, who's now he went to Alabama, but he transferred portal over to Oregon, so he's gonna come on the show. So we'll see. We're working on a couple more. Trying to get Jaden Daniels on the show. So if you're watching this, Jaden, hit me up.
Are you good? Like I don't know if you're talking about, you know, NCAA 25.
I'm full disclosure. The game is it's pretty difficult. The open field tackling is difficult. It's almost impossible, to be honest. But I took a good one yesterday to my guy Champ Brown. I know if I don't say that, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it when I go to practice tomorrow. They're gonna give it to me. But no, I feel like I'm pretty good. I don't know. It's, you know, I don't know.
All right, you mentioned Champ Brown. I got to ask about my Falcons, man. How's Aquinas looking right now?
Yeah, everything's going good, man. You know, we bring a lot of guys back from last year. A lot of key returners on the O-line and the D-line. You know, we got, you know, Malachi Jones back and Charlie Reyes, who was starting before him. And those guys are pushing each other right now in the quarterback room. And, you know, having JoJo in the backfield and Champ in the backfield, you know, and you got a guy like JoJo who can do so much, man. He's going to be in the backfield a lot. With Champ, he's going to be in the backfield by himself. He's going to be all over the place. So, you know, his versatility is going to really help us out a lot. So, really good senior group. We got some young guys. We're probably going to bring 4 or 5 freshmen to camp, incoming freshmen, which is cool. It's kind of been, you know, our thing. It's like, it don't really matter, you know, what grade or age, you know, how old you are. You know, the best 11 are going to play. So we're about 2 weeks out of camp week right now. So just grinding and getting going again.
So are you in dead period right now? And if you are, like, how do you spend your time?
No, we just popped out of dead period.
Okay.
So we just came back on Monday. So no, it was good, man. Family went to the beach, and I think it's really good, for everybody to unplug, especially like I like how we take it, a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks before camp week, and then once we come back, it's kind of like we're just in it, until through the season and hopefully late into November, December. So no, I mean, it's like I said, it's always good to recharge the batteries, but we're ready to go, man. I'm looking forward to camp.
Are you looking forward to it? Partly because if you go back to last year in the playoffs, man, you guys lost in the first round. I think a lot of people just assumed you were going to make a deep run in D5, if not win the whole thing. I know Orange Vista had a really good team, but everyone assumed, you guys would be there at the end as well. I mean, does that motivate you guys a little bit coming back this year?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anytime, you lose in the first round, you're definitely motivated to not allow that to be the outcome, the following year. And, we've been very blessed and fortunate. We've had some good runs in the last 7 years. And it's actually the first time we haven't gone to at least a quarterfinal since, Jordan took over the program in 2015. So, and then even then, like we've only gone to the quarters that 1 year in 2018. So, we've been, almost spoiled, where it's like people get used to, pencil us in the semifinals, but it's just not normal. And it just shows you how hard it is to get there and to get it done, So, perfect storm. We played a really bad game against a really good football team in Foothill. And, the great thing is we come back with most of the guys that played in that game and still have that taste in their mouth. And, we're getting ready. Like I said, they're fired up to get ready for camp. And then, we're going to scrimmage Servite again, and then right back at it with Oak Hills, J. Sarah, and then Citrus Valley this year. So to kick it off.
That's a great non-league schedule right there. Coach, finally, listen, again, I'm not a video game guy, so I'm probably even saying this wrong, but have you ever drawn up or ran a play in a video game that you thought, you know what? That could work in real life with real high school football players. I'm going to implement that.
Oh, all the time. I'll tell you, so the first year I ever coached high school football, I was 19 years old. I had just graduated. I don't even think I was 19 yet. I wasn't. I was like 18 and a half. And Josh Henderson, who was my coach, he called me and he was like, I think I was just hanging out. It was summer. I had a little job. And he called me. He was like, hey, man, I always thought you were going to be a coach. Like, what do you think about coaching? And I said, yeah, man, sure. Like, yeah, why don't you come help coach the JV? And about halfway through the season, they made me the offensive coordinator. Some things happened. And I definitely, for sure, back then at 19 years old was taking plays out of Madden and putting them, into the Aquinas JV playbook, as a 18-and-a-half-year-old kid. So, I see things, they've dialed those playbooks in a lot, in recent years in the games. And a lot of that stuff is pretty realistic. The stuff that everybody already runs, the concepts and stuff. But, yeah, you see one once in a while and you're like, oh, my guy Cody, my son Cody, he actually he's been drawing up some trick plays for Jordan, and leaving them on his desk every day. So you never know when those are going to pop up.
Speaking of Jordan, is he dodging my hard questions? Like, where is he?
Nah, he's making dinner for everybody. He said he'll definitely come on, get on with you here pretty soon. So
all right, because I had some hard hitting questions for him tonight. I guess I'll have to wait till next time.
He might not have been ready for it.
Yeah,
so.
I don't think so. Well, Coach Agno, listen, man, congrats on the new gig. Congrats on the success with Joystick U, and can't wait to see you guys out there on the gridiron soon with the Falcons.
Pep, you're the man. Can't thank you enough for everything you do for everybody in the area. So appreciate that. And a shameless plug, if you're into watching video games, check out Joystick U. It's we're on Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. And then on Twitch is where we stream. So if you want to check it out, hop on there.
And you need some ops, as my kids would say, right? Some opponents.
Dude, I do need some ops. I need like a rival. Like someone needs to come up with a different you, so yeah.
Or at least someone to play against, right? Like you mentioned some of those college guys.
I don't have there's no shortage of people to play. I got a bunch of like all these, I got 85 kids in the program that are have a target on my back. So
Perfect.
I'm not putting any of them on the stream just so they don't beat me live on my stream though.
Coach Agno, appreciate the time, brother.
Pep, thanks a lot, man.
All right. Coach Agno, Joystick U. Check it out for all you gamers out there. When we come back here on the Inland Sports Show, we've got more high school football talk. My good buddy Geoff Gorham will check in. There's a lot of teams playing in new leagues come next season. A lot of moving around as we go into 2024. So we'll break that down with the big Jeezy, Geoff Gorham. That is next here on the Inland Sports Show. We'll be right back. And this segment of the Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Kin Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and Letterman's jackets. Boost Performance Training in Corona. Athletes of all levels and all sports train at Boost. And also ask about the Bass Private School. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist you can trust.
Should your child lift weights before hitting their growth spur? I get this question a lot from parents, and the simple answer is yes. Think of it as a long accumulation phase where athletes get modest gains in strength, power, and coordination. And when their growth spurt does hit, often it's to a larger degree than athletes who didn't lift weights at all. So remember, develop early, specialize late. Your boy, Boostman.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports Show on this Wednesday night. One quick programming note again. We're coming on a little bit later, live on Wednesday night. We're going to experiment for the rest of the summer on the timing of the show. Should we change it to a different day? Should we move it a little bit later in the evening? The Inland Sports Show has been, for I don't know how many years now, 5 years. It's been on Wednesday nights at 6:05. But we're thinking about maybe changing the day or the time to make it more accessible for you guys. So if the Inland Sports Show is coming on at a different time live in the next couple of weeks, that is why we're just experimenting, trying to give you guys the best experience here to check out local sports here in the IE. We're doing all this because we're trying to have the best sports coverage coming up for high school football here in the Inland Empire. And we talk high school football, we got to talk to our guy, Geoff Gorham, the big Jeezy from Riverside TV. A lot of teams in our Inland Sports Show coverage area will be playing in new leagues. Not completely new leagues, but teams moving from an old league to a new league. And it's hard to keep track of a lot of these schools, so it was good to kind of go over all these schools with Geoff as we talk about the Rain Cross Conference. A lot of shake-up there, the Mountain Pass, the River Valley. The Mountain Valley is even a little bit different this upcoming season. So without further ado, the big Jeezy. And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show, one of our good buddies, fresh off a vacation, still with the vacation beard, but he wanted to jump on because we've got to talk high school football as we get ready for 2024. It is the one and only Ramona Hall of Famer, the big Jeezy, Geoff Gorham. Geoff, what is cracking, man?
All I know is you called me just a friend. I was once part of this great embodiment of a high school and local sports show, and now I'm just a dear friend.
Just a dear friend who's vacationing and living the good life and just chilling.
Oh, I'm telling you, Pep, have you ever been to South Carolina?
No.
Well, my wife and I decided she's an Edgar Allan fan, so she wanted to go see where, everything about Edgar Allan Poe, and she's weird, by the way. She's absolutely weird. So we go to this place. It is 100 degrees and 900% humidity. Have you ever sat in a spa, in a steam room? Of course you have. You're a steam room kind of guy.
Yes.
You're sitting there for 20 minutes. You feel like you're going to pass out and you're just sweating. I was going to like fancy schmancy restaurants in Charleston, by the way, which is no slouch. That is the cleanest city I have ever seen in my life. Not a piece of dirt on the ground. And I walked on cobblestones. I ate fish. I ate crab. I ate fried green tomatoes. I had it all. I had she crab soup. It's only made from female crabs.
I didn't even know that.
I didn't either, but it's fantastic.
I'm getting educated.
I had biscuits. I went to Fort Sumter. Look at my hat I'm wearing.
And you raised the American flag. What was that?
I raised the American flag on the first. They raised the American flag the first time, the first boat. We got over there crack of dawn because my wife's crazy and likes to get up early on vacation. Vacation doesn't exist in the Gorham house. We did plantations. We did the Magnolia Plantation. We saw crocodiles or alligators. We saw spiders bigger than your head, Pep, which is not very big. We saw, you name it. I saw bugs. I felt bugs biting my legs. We went fossil hunting. I told you this already. I got 48 shark teeth. I have one I'm going to bring to you and everybody on the Inland Sports Show and Riverside TV football.
You are amazing, Geoff. It sounds like a great trip with your family.
Oh, it was terrible. It was god-awful. I had 2 kids in the back seat. It was terrible.
You were exhausted.
The food was great. I got stuck in Washington, D.C. because something happened Saturday. You know what happened Saturday?
Well, no. What happened?
Oh, something bad, big in the world.
I thought you were talking about high school footballers. Yes, of course.
No, I don't know. I mean, it's like, wow. It was a busy day. It was a 27-hour day at the airport for the Gorhams.
Oh, my gosh.
I was awake the entire time, and boy, my God, you look good, Pep. I miss you. High school football, college football is back. Let's talk it. What are we talking now?
Let's talk about, Geoff, let's talk about the re-leaguing because, you brought it up, and it got me thinking. I'm like, okay, I know a lot of teams are on the move, but, man, some of these leagues are going to look really different for 2024. I don't think you can see what I'm about to punch up over here, but
everything.
Yeah, it's the it's the Ivy League, and
who's in that league? Who are we talking here?
Well, the new additions are going to be Liberty, Paloma Valley, and Vista del Lago. They're going to join Rancho Verde, JW North, and last year's Ivy League champion, and of course that would be Orange Vista. So, Geoff, that's a pretty darn good league right there.
That's a really good league. You can't unseat the brothers, though. The brothers out there at Rancho Verde. But man, it's not a bad league. I think Liberty, are they the Bison?
The Bison.
Fighting Bison? You can't ever go against the mighty Bison who are just around the outside of the Gorham stately Gorham Manor here. I go Bison are going to be great. I think John W. North has to be better this year. They have to be, and Rancho Verde and Orange Vista, they're powers. That'll be a fun conference.
It will. And you know what? There's going to be a good team or two that does not make the playoffs out of it. I'm looking at it. Let's say, just for the sake of our conversation right now, Orange Vista, Rancho Verde, and Liberty, maybe they're the top 3 teams. I mean, you got to finish in the top 3 for a playoff spot. That's tough for Vista del Lago, Paloma Valley, and North.
Yeah, but how many of those teams are going to have a over 500 winning record at the end of the year? I bet we get an at-large from that. That's a good league.
That is.
And what happens with those teams that get at-larges or third in their conference? They only win the state championship. Or
like Ramona, right? I mean, we saw Ramona do it.
Yes, we've seen it with Arlington a couple years ago. They came in. It was a wild card, whatever it was, and Arlington goes on. Coach should have retired after his first year. He'd have been champ forever. But that's beside the point.
So it's not the worst thing in the world to be in a really tough league and sneak into the playoffs. A 3rd place team,
yes.
A 4th place team, and then make a deep CIF run.
I think we're going to continue to see this every single year from a team, like Ramona. Ramona's been in the playoffs. They've been successful. They've won more games than everybody. But there's going to be one of those teams going to fall into that niche. Norte Vista might not ever fall into it because they've been so dominant for years. But there's going to be a team that will just maybe get outside in their 3rd or 4th place in their league and have an opportunity to win championships. It's cool, but it's also you feel bad if you're a league champion.
All right, so Geoff, that was the Ivy League. Let's stay in the Raincross Conference. I'm going to look down at the Sun Belt League real quick. And in the Sun Belt League, we got some new additions from, the old River Valley. We got Hillcrest and Arlington joining the Sun Belt League. Let's see, they got Hemet, Riverside Poly, and Rancho Christian, and Valley View as well. So that's a 1, 2, 3, that's a 6-team league. So that's a pretty good league as well now.
Okay, now you look at this. I'm going to tell you right now. Travis Carter over at Hillcrest. He's coming in. He still has his top returners. He's got Ventus, the kid that had over 1,000 yards,
Yeah,
9 touchdowns last year. Beltran, who's a 3-year starter on the offensive line. Roberto Bustamante will lead the defense. He had 77 tackles last year. And Julian Sandoval seems like he's been around forever. He's back. And Matthew Ramos, who did almost everything last season, will be the quarterback of note for Travis Carter. And remember, one last guy. I know I'm going all Hillcrest here. Noah Mayweather and Zach Guerrero will be the 2 guys on offense. They're going to be pretty darn good. They have everybody returning who I thought was a very, very good team last year, especially at the end of the season.
Yeah, I was going to say, they got a lot of guys coming back. You just did the roll call right there. So a lot of the key players from last year's team. And Sandoval is a great receiver. I can't remember if it was last year. I think it was last year when he was hurt, right? We didn't see a whole lot of him.
Yeah, I think he was out for an entire year. One of the last 2 years, he's been gone. But you look at Rancho Christian. Rancho Christian is one of those schools, like Linfield Christian has been great 1 year, and then they have this lower, not a down year, but not a success because they're a smaller school. But you look at them, they always have transfers coming in from big schools. They could be a sleeper, and I think them with Travis Carter and Hillcrest could be the 1-2 punch over there.
All right, Geoff, let's just round out the Raincross Conference with the Inland Valley League real quick. We'll just touch on it. The teams, actually the new teams in that league, let's see, it's going to be Citrus Hill and Heritage. And let's see, they're going to be joining Paris, which is actually a new team as well because Paris came over from the Mountain Pass. So Paris, Heritage, Citrus Hill, Moreno Valley, Lakeside, and Canyon Springs. That's your new Inland Valley League.
Oh, Citrus Hill, Ron Garinger, he's been everywhere. He's been successful everywhere. He's been a champion everywhere he's been, other than Corona. But hey, you're playing against Centennial and the big wigs every single week. He's gonna be able to coach those kind of kids up there at Citrus Hill. He is gonna love it, a lot like Sanji. Those are junkyard dogs, hard knocks, local kids. I think you'll get them a lot better than they've been in the past. So I hope Ron Garinger's going to do well. And Elsinore, new coach last year, did a great job. They're going to be good again, I think.
That league's going to be wide open, I feel like. One of those teams, like we talked about, you win your league or get into the playoffs, and maybe you get in Division 12 or 13 or whatever, and you're going to make a long playoff run in one of those divisions.
If Citrus Hill makes the playoffs, think about this. They've been 1 in 37 or whatever the last 3.5 plus years. They haven't had a great record. You go in, you make a playoff, you're going to be at the lowest division. You get the tough and grit of those local kids. You can win. We've seen it at Ramona. We've seen it at CSDR twice, and we're seeing it all over the place. Arlington a few years ago. We could see it happen as well up at Citrus Hill possibly.
Yeah, maybe the reemergence of Heritage, right? I mean, Heritage was dominant for so long. Maybe this will kind of jumpstart their program.
A lot of new homes built right around the Heritage High School area. They're going to get a lot of new kids. I live out here. I see it every day. They're going to be back.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so that was the Raincross Conference. Let's go to the Mountain Pass League because it's a couple teams from the Raincross that went to the Mountain Pass. So the teams that are, new in the Mountain Pass, Temescal Canyon and Elsinore. The teams that are still in the Mountain Pass, San Jacinto, the longtime league champion, Tockwitz, and West Valley. So only a 5-team league. So the teams in this league, they got 6 non-league games this coming season.
You can't count San Jacinto out. I mean, they have just built a dynasty the last couple of years. I mean, they're formidable against anybody around. They go toe-to-toe with the big boys. You can't count them out. But you never know with the schools out here in this, the southwestern area of Menifee and Murrieta. Teams to show up. We've seen Chaparral come out of the ashes. We've seen Temecula Valley come out of the ashes under Burt. I mean, we've seen teams do this, and that is a key area to get guys. You get a good program going and get them situated where they're under the same regimen. They're going to be pretty good. Look for one of those teams to pop up.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I think that Elsinore versus Tockwitz game is going to be really good, and I know Elsinore's always strong, so I don't know if they have enough to challenge mighty San Jacinto, but that league's going to be it's going to go through the Jack. It's gone through the Jack for about the last 5 years, so it's still going to go through the Jack.
Well, What else do we got, Pep?
All right, Geoff, now we've got the River Valley League. I know it's very close to your heart. It's a little bit different, and I'll say it's kind of top-heavy. We got Norte Vista, Ramona, and Patriot, your holdovers, and those might be the three best teams in that league. You also have La Sierra, and now you've added Supa Dupa, Harupa Valley, and Arubido. They both come over from the old Mountain Valley League.
But I'll tell you what, it's going to be a lot of the same. It's going to go 1-2 either way. You got Ramona, defending state champion. You got Troy Long, who's making a return. So Sincerely Tolbert, the great running back, comes back. Cody Shiner will be the quarterback of note. And I'm going to tell you, there's a freshman kid that played last year on the freshman team. Yes, Pep, I go to freshman games. His name is Isaac Mata. He was a running back. I said he could have played on a lot of varsity high school teams last year. He will be the receiver for young Mr. Shiner. Ramona state champs are going to have a big bullseye on their back, just like Arlington did a couple years ago, but you can never count out Ken Batdorf and the Norte Vista Braves. You got one of the Elaines, you got Dreddy, Freddie, and Eddie. You have Dreddy, who's back, and the great offensive line that he just builds every single season. Brand new turf, brand new stadium at Norte Vista High School.
Oh, that's right.
I think that Ken Batdorf is going to win another league championship. I'm calling it now. I'm throwing out the salvos. In his 85th year of coaching, Ken Batdorf's going to win another River Valley League championship, and I think it comes down to Patriot and Ramona.
Geoff, I'm going to miss the beat-up grass field. I really am going to miss that.
Well, if you sit up in the press box, it looked like the map of the world. You see like oceans and continents. And I'm like, I could tell Ken Batdorf went over in that corner and watered that area. But the rest of it was by dirt. You had 3 different high schools and flag football and JV and freshmen. I mean, it was the most beat up field in the city of Riverside.
I'm going to miss it, though.
I'm going to miss it. I took some of the grass and I put it in my backyard. And guess what happened to it?
It died.
It died. You got my joke, but no, I think that it's going to help Ken Batdorf. I think he's on the verge of retirement, and he's going to join us in the booth at Riverside TV sometime in the future.
Is it 31? Seriously, but is it his 31st season coming up? Does that sound right?
32nd year.
32nd? Okay.
Yeah. Dang. And he's, I still talk to him. He was like on another whirlwind. He was in Antarctica, and then he was somewhere else just recently. The guy's all over the world. I go to freaking the South and got bit by bugs and almost got killed. Almost killed. And he goes over nice parts of the world. I go read about Edgar Allan Poe and the Raven.
He's a world traveler. He doesn't really strike me as one, but he is. He's a world traveler.
What do you mean? Have you seen his belly? Have you seen all the world traveling foods that guy's been eating? Dude, he eats lobsters without cutting them open. He just bites into them.
Oh.
Hey, can we talk about Martin Luther King and Jason McMains?
Why not?
Well, I'll tell you what. I think they're going to be pretty darn good. What do you think?
I think they are, too. I think that league has been, the last couple of years, it's been a real toss-up. Murrieta Mesa and Great Oak have been really good, but King's been right there in the mix. Temecula Valley, they're kind of a wild card. Hey. They could be really good, too. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And at Santiago, our guy Coach Morrison is back. So I think that league is really competitive.
I love Coach Morrison, but they're going to lose. The best player in the entire league is gone. He transferred to play baseball at Orange Lutheran.
Oh, that's
Blake
right.
Bowen.
For King, yeah.
Yeah, he was my favorite player in all of high school sports, but there is a guy named Derek Kuhn who didn't get to play much. He had to play behind Blake Bowen, stuck with it. And I'm telling you, I saw McMains talk to him about my South Carolina trip. He said that kid is going to be tough. You got one of the George brothers. Logan George is going to be a senior. And I'll tell you, he's got Riker Galvin, Derek Conn, like you said, the young wide receiver, Luke McCray, Noah Villanueva, who's been around forever. I think McMains lost some dudes, but I think they're going to be pretty. I'm calling McMains to win another CIF playoff game.
And I bet you he's anxious to get back on the field again and get it going, because remember, they lose in the semifinals in like an overtime, wasn't it? It was like a heartbreaking loss.
Didn't it hit the goalpost?
I think it did, like the extra
point.
point.
And then we called him right afterwards, and I was making fun of him, and he wanted to beat me up.
Oh,
I love Jason McMains.
He would have beat you up too. He's tough.
He's a tough little guy. But I enjoy it. That was fun. I got to rip my buddies. He hosted with me when you were gone. Remember, he was with me at RCC.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah,
he's a really good dude.
You were MIA for that.
I was. All right, Geoff, finally, I want to ask you about that. I know it has nothing to do directly with the Riverside schools because you're Mr. Riverside TV. But listen, I don't know if you know about this. This is kind of cool, and I don't know if other leagues will adopt this. But in the Mountain Valley League, Harupa Valley and Rubidoux left the Mountain Valley to join the River Valley. So instead of going out and getting other teams in the Mountain Valley League, the schools that stayed, let's see, so that's A.B. Miller, San Bernardino, Indian Springs, and Pacific. They decided that they're going to do a home and home against one another. So they're going to play each other twice in one season. Each team gets a home game. So do you think that could ever catch on where like Centennial and Norco would play twice in a year and they'd each take a turn being the home team?
Unequivocally, no.
I was like, oh, this is going to be a curveball. Let's go.
No. I think it hurts you. I just do. I mean, you got to go out and play. And I, no offense, I agree to a point, but kids want to play against other high schools. They want to play against other teams. You don't want to see your buddy twice or somebody you don't like twice. I got to see you at least twice a week, and I don't know what I'm thinking. But you want to play against other guys. You want 9 different opponents. So I disagree with to a point. So maybe it's for travel reasons, purposes. Maybe it's cheaper. Whatever it is, I don't know. Call me an old school guy. Hey, I'm watching Bronny in the background. You see that?
Oh, please don't.
Hey, he just shot another air ball, Pep.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. That part's probably true. That's the first true thing you said all interview.
Oh, I'm getting back in the fun of things. We got RCC football coming up, Pep.
State
champs.
Who
else got on the show tonight? Who do you got on the show?
We're going to go live in just a second. We got Bob Stangel, the head football coach for Redlands High School. They're going to kick off the year at Hawai'i. We're going to talk some Aquinas football. And, so we got some stuff going on.
Oh, I saw like a Beliveau. Do you have Beliveau on?
Oh, yeah. She's going to come on and talk about the Wisconsin Badgers.
Her dad's a wet napkin. I call him that every time I see him. Now, what a wonderful guy. What a wonderful coach.
But you know what? It's funny. I didn't know this. I guess Mattie was really good at soccer. And during COVID, she kind of had to make the choice like, do I want to do both sports? I can only do one. And she chose softball.
Whatever. That's just Beliveau telling you something like she's a great soccer. Like, hey, my kid's a great soccer player. My kid's awesome. He plays AYSO and he scores. And come on. His daughter, though, she can throw BB shots.
Yeah, she's a beast. Yeah.
He is the best, second best soccer coach in Riverside County. You know who the first best is?
I don't know. Tell me.
I don't know. He's no matter what. Beliveu's second.
Oh, Kevin Watson. He just remember Arlington.
At Arlington.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's handsome, too. Way better looking than Beliveau.
All right, Geoff, football season is right around the corner. You can catch him on Riverside TV. When's the first game? What's the week 0 game? You already know?
What are you talking about the first game? We got the coach's perspective. We have the coach's preview show. We have the pep rally. We got the rice zone.
The rice zone.
We got John Rice zone. John Rice is going to be our in-studio guest, and we're going to have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games, whatever, and he's going to be the red zone guy.
Break it all down.
He's going to be sitting in a corner smoking a cob pipe with an old hat and fishing. Doesn't he look like a fisherman?
He does.
John Rice looks like a fisherman, and he needs you to put him in a raincoat and a little triangle hat.
Fresh off Lake Paris and right into the studio. And
yes, okay, I'm going to let you go. One more thing I have to say. 2 more things.
Just say it.
Billy Cardosi, my thoughts and prayers are with you. Billy Cardosi had a heart issue.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I talked to him yesterday. I texted him when I came back from South Carolina. And I want to say this. I love you, Billy Cardosi, and I'm praying for you every day.
Oh, same here. I didn't know that. I'll have to reach out to him. What's the second
everybody
thing?
Reach out to Billy Cardosi and say, Gorham said you got sick.
What's the second thing?
Okay. The last thing is, dear friend Ron Main, who is not feeling well right now in the hospital. He is at home, I believe, today. Ron Main, you are the greatest athletic director of all time. And Ken Batdorf and I really love you. And I am praying and thinking about you 24/7. That's it. I love you, Ron Main. I love you, Pep Fernandez.
Yeah, Ron is a great dude. I bet you he was somewhat instrumental in that new field at Norda Vista, right? The turf. He probably behind the scenes was making it happen.
You know what? I said we should do red turf because if you know Coach Main, he's always like blushing red because he's always
yeah.
So I said, why don't we call it the Red Turf, Ron Main Turf, because he's like a red guy, and he lives red for Norte Vista, obviously. But our thoughts and prayers are with, seriously, the best athletic director in the history of the world, and one of my best friends in the world. I had a chance to talk to him. I love you, Coach Main. I'm with you, buddy.
Can we just call it like Ron Main Field at Alvord District Stadium or Wyatt Earp Stadium?
I will call it. I will, no matter what, I'm going to call it that. And I don't care what the dang stadium is. Zach Earp Stadium, Ron Main Field, of course, for gosh sakes. And then someday we'll add, like in the end zone, we'll put Batdorf because he'll have been there like 900 years.
Geoff, I'll see you again real soon, brother.
Bye-bye. I love you, buddy. See you guys coming up.
All right, when we come back here on the Inland Sports Show, we'll take a break from high school football for a little bit and talk to Hillcrest High School softball star Mattie Beliveau. I guess you could say a former Trojan softball star. She's taken her talents to the University of Wisconsin to pitch in the Big Ten for the Badgers. That's next here on the Inland Sports Show. We'll be right back. And this segment of the Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Kin Sporting Goods in Norco. #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and Letterman's jackets. Boost Performance Training in Corona. Athletes of all levels and all sports train at Boost. And also ask about the Bass Private School. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist you can trust. The Inland Sports Show is proud to partner with Dr. Marcus Paulson and Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Dr. Paulson and his team work with children, teens, and adults using orthodontic products like traditional braces and Invisalign to make a difference in the appearance, comfort, and function of each patient's teeth. Paulson Orthodontics welcomes new patients, so schedule a visit today. Paulson Orthodontics. We make braces fun.
Hey guys, this is Jason at Ken Sporting Goods. We're almost to 1,000 Instagram followers. Tell your friends, like us, come down and see us. Thank you so much for your loyalty.
Is it important to have your kid on the A-team? Absolutely not. If you have some serious goals for a young athlete, don't forget to focus on the bigger picture. Instead of trying to get them on the A-team, focus on finding them a good coach. Coaches who attract the best players aren't always great developers, whereas a coach who can instill what your child needs to reach their potential, that's priceless. Boost man.
Speaking of superstar kids and drafting right and whatnot, the Major League Baseball draft actually began on Sunday night. It's going to be for 3 days. It began with the first 2 rounds Sunday night, and we had some local guys, Patrick, go in the top 2 rounds, which is serious money. That is a nice paycheck for our guys, and they're both high schoolers. Braylon Dowdy out of Chaparral High School in Temecula. He went 36 overall to Cleveland. And then Ethan Schiefelbein, the star pitcher out of Corona High School, which led them to the CIF championship, the state title. He went 72nd overall to the Detroit Tigers. So these guys both committed to big-time programs, college programs, but now they're going to go pro, because how do you turn down that kind of money going in the first 2 rounds?
So cool. Congratulations to these 2 fine young men out of the IE. I love it.
And think of this, Patrick. Listen, I know you're a big football guy.
Yes.
I'm a big football guy as well. The Hall of Fame game is right around the corner for the NFL, and the 2 teams playing in that game, they kind of get a head start on everybody else. So this week, as we talk on this Monday morning, on Wednesday, the Bears and the Texans will kick off training camp across the NFL.
I love it, man, because, our very own, I like to claim him as an IE man, CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
I want to see, we'll have to see who they play and stuff like that. You know how it is in the preseason and everything, but they're building a squad over there for old CJ. I want to see what happens with these Texans.
Yeah, they brought in some guys. There's several guys, but maybe most notably Stephon Diggs, the star receiver from the Buffalo Bills. Houston's going to be, they surprised everybody last season. They're not going to surprise anybody this year, because they're going to be really, really good. And C.J. Stroud proved that he's a great quarterback, because he was winning and got them to the playoffs with basically no real stars around him, or at least no household names. Now they put some guys around him. Houston's going to be a very tough team to beat. And I'm curious to see, too, what the Chicago Bears are going to do. They got Caleb Williams now, the USC quarterback. So both the Texans and the Bears kicking off training camp this week with pretty cool storylines, Patrick.
Yeah, it's like California high school star against California college star. It should be cool.
Inland Sports. And welcome back to the Inland Sports Show. Thanks for hanging on this Wednesday night. We started a little bit later than normal. If you're just joining us, we're going to experiment for the rest of the summer and try some different times, maybe even different days for the Inland Sports Show to see what works best. So next Wednesday night, we will start later again. Not sure exactly what time. I might put a poll up on Twitter to see what you guys would prefer. I'm thinking maybe 7:05, 8:05, 7:30, somewhere in that ballpark, maybe like shortly after that dinner time. So stay tuned to Inland Sports on social media to find out when or if we change the time for the show. Now, here on this segment, I know we've talked a lot of high school football, but we do want to give a shout out to one of our local high school softball stars, Mattie Beliveau from Hillcrest High School. She was on the show a couple months ago when she signed that scholarship with the Wisconsin Badgers, and we've had so many great high school softball players from the Inland Empire go on to do big things, and obviously Mattie is next in line to do that. We had a chance to catch up with her before she wraps up her travel ball career, which will be completed this weekend, and then a quick vacation before heading to Madison, Wisconsin. Yes, Madison in Madison, as she prepares to pitch for Wisconsin in the Big Ten. Inland Sports.
But Wisconsin, when I went on my visit there, I really felt that spark. Like, I was welcomed. The coaching staff made me feel very comfortable, felt very loved when I was there. Overall, it's the Big Ten. It's a great program, great school, great facilities. So it should be a good, fun ride the next 4 years.
Speaking of the Big Ten, Mattie, USC and UCLA, they're joining the Big Ten, and I don't know if Wisconsin softball has released their schedule for the upcoming season, but there's a chance you could be back in Southern California, playing games at UCLA or USC. Is the schedule out? Do you know if you'll have those games?
I know that we'll be playing Washington. That's our closest away game so far that I know. Yeah.
So at least the West Coast, if not USC or UCLA. Mattie, when you look back at your high school career at Hillcrest, what are some of the things that you're going to remember?
Definitely going to remember winning CIF my sophomore year. That was definitely one of the best memories. And then creating friendships and, having one of the best coaching staffs. And then breaking the strikeout record for the league. That was really memorable.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about some of your records because I'll be honest, every time I got on social media, it looked like Hillcrest Softball was posting a picture of you holding up a sign. You know, you broke this record or that record. I know, listen, you're very humble, but do you know what records you hold? I don't know if it's school records, league records, whatever it might be.
I for sure know I broke the league record and then the school record.
And for strikeouts, right? Career strikeouts.
Yes, for strikeouts.
I assume you probably had the single season as well at Hillcrest. I mean,
yes.
Yeah. So when you get to Wisconsin, what are the goals? Like, what are you hoping to accomplish at the next level? Is it conference championship? Is it get to the World Series? Is it maybe use it as a springboard to, make Team USA or play professional somewhere overseas? I mean, what's kind of the goals at the next level for you, Mattie?
Definitely, I want to become an All-American. Definitely want to hopefully help win the team a Big Ten championship, and then hopefully we get to the World Series and make a ride out of that.
Dominating here locally in Riverside, the River Valley League, CIF, that's one thing. But to do it at the Big Ten level, that caliber of competition obviously is going to go up. What are some things that maybe you're doing right now during the summer, things that you feel like you're gonna be a better pitcher when you step in the circle for the Badgers? Can you get better? How do you do that?
Yeah, so Wisconsin actually sent us a summer workout schedule. So we do some strength and weight work, and then some agility and conditioning. So that's helping obviously get the muscle up, and then the mobility, and then obviously bullpens throughout the summer, and playing travel ball is helping a lot. Well, that's good.
Yeah, because most people, if you're a softball fan, you already know this, but if you're just a casual sports fan and you're watching the Inland Sports Show, it's worth repeating that, softball players, you really don't have a downtime, right? Between high school and travel ball, you're training or playing tournaments or doing something all year round, right? That obviously must make you a better softball player.
Yeah, we have 1 week off from high school into travel ball, and it's back to the grind. From Colorado to Kansas to Huntington Beach for nationals for PGF. Then we get 3 weeks off for our summer, and then back now off to college.
So is travel ball officially over now?
No, this coming week we have our national tournament for PGF.
Is that gonna be kind of weird for you, knowing that's your last rodeo?
I think that in the moment I'll be like, it's just another tournament, but at the end I'll be like, yeah, this is pretty sad. I'll never be back out here and playing for the same travel ball team I've been playing for.
Mattie, with travel ball, I've talked to other high school pitchers, and obviously travel ball is a great way to get exposure if you're trying to get that, college scholarship. There's a lot of scouts that go to these, travel ball tournaments, obviously. But at this point, you're signed with Wisconsin. You're going to be pitching there. At this point, is it just that you can stay sharp, you continue to go out there and face batters and continue throwing and make sure you're, staying in shape and seeing live hitters? Is that kind of the purpose of travel ball for you right now that you have the scholarship, obviously?
Yeah, obviously our coaches are still going to come out and watch us to make sure we're still on that same grind when they first had recruited us, to make sure that they're still what we like. So obviously we're not just going to set in cruise control and just take it easy. Right now we got to work 10 times harder to make sure this is what they want, to look into getting that starting spot. So that's what it is right now.
It's funny you say that, working 10 times harder, because whether it's football or softball or whatever the sport, obviously the signing day is a big deal and you get that scholarship and it's a huge thing for you and your family and the school. But a lot of athletes say, it's great and you celebrate in the moment, but that's when the real work starts. It sounds like you kind of have that mentality too, right? You feel like, okay, now the real work's going to start. You got to prove that you belong there. You got to prove that you're a starter. You got to prove that if you want to be an all conference or all American. What do you think it's going to take to achieve all those goals?
It's definitely going to be a challenge. You got to keep working harder. Right now, people are probably just settled down. I'm signed. I don't need to work harder, but you got to stay in that weight room. You got to prove to your coaches. You got to work individually. You got to work overtime. Just got to keep grinding until you are secure with that spot. Even if you're secure, you got to keep doing it again and again, just so got to keep working hard.
Mattie, how much time do you spend on your own, working on pitching? But how much is it just, I don't know if you lift weights. Is it about just the mechanics, trying to add muscle? How much of it is actually just pitching, and how much of it is like you said, trying to maybe become, more flexible or add muscle or those sorts of things?
Usually on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we'll do lifting and then our strength and conditioning. And then I'll pitch probably the same days, or mostly it's either 3 to 4 days a week. I'll pitch with my mom and one of my other pitching coaches.
Does your mom, does she catch, or she just coaches you up?
She coaches me when I listen, but yeah.
Now I got to ask, your mom, did she pitch?
Yeah, she was a pitcher. She went to Cal State Dominguez Hills, and then she played professionally across seas in Italy.
And she was, I think, an assistant at Hillcrest, right? Like
Yeah,
your pitching
she was a
coach?
pitching coach. Yeah, she called pitches.
So you've got 2 coaches in the family. Do you feel like maybe in your future, at some point way down the road, when this is all said and done, like could you see yourself, coaching softball at the high school or college level or something like that?
Probably not, but I actually want to get into broadcasting for like sports and everything. So
that's a great route as well, right? I mean, especially with the popularity of softball taking off and all the games are being broadcasted. If you go on ESPN Plus, you can basically see every single game that's out there. You can find all the games as well. Mattie, if you weren't playing softball, what sport do you think you would be playing?
I would definitely be playing soccer right now.
Was that like your other sport growing up?
Yeah, it was.
And I'm sure your dad had a big influence on that, right?
Oh yeah, he did.
But do you think about it now? Like, I don't know if you ever came to like a fork in the road where you were like, okay, am I going to dedicate most of my time to softball, or am I going to dedicate most of my time to, let's say, soccer? Moments like this, where you're like, okay, I made the right choice. I'm going to Wisconsin.
Yeah. I have actually had a moment in my life. I think it was 2020 when COVID hit. I was like, you know what? I don't want to play softball. Like, I'm having a hard time right now. So I actually quit and I went to soccer for a little bit. And I was like, you know what? This is dumb. Like, I'm so good at softball. Why am I going to waste such a good talent? And so obviously I took back the opportunity and here I am.
So obviously it paid off. It was the right decision in the end. Yeah. And then, stepping away from it for a little bit, did it kind of rekindle the enjoyment you had for the game of softball?
Yeah, it definitely did. I definitely missed it so much. And I was like, this is where I want to be. I want to have that electric feeling when I'm on the mound, having the ball in my hand. Definitely not scoring goals, but I was definitely striking batters out.
What's the better feeling? Because I feel like obviously there's a far less goals being scored in soccer than you are getting strikeouts in a game. So I don't know. Can you compare the two feelings, or is it similar or different?
I feel like softball, there's so much, like, it's such an individual sport kind of, because it's all your own position, and like for me, I feel it's so individual because I'm in control of the game. I have the ball in my hand, so I think it's more of a adrenaline feeling when I'm striking a batter out, because it's such a hyped experience, especially in high pressure games. And then for soccer, it's like, well, it's another goal. Like, of course it's fun. Like, you get to celebrate, you get to like be cocky, and like, you've seen soccer players, how they celebrate. Yeah.
Mattie, what are you most excited about pitching at the college level? Is it just, Madison's a great college town? Are you excited to just, move away and see something new? Or are you excited to go to Wisconsin football games? Like, what are you excited about this whole college experience?
Definitely excited for the town. It's going to be fun. It's definitely a party school. It's been ranked in the top 3 right now. So, but I'm definitely excited for football games. Gonna probably check out some hockey games too. So that'll be a cool little experience. Definitely a good college town to be around and meet new people.
Mm-hmm. Are there other, because there's IE and Southern California girls like on all the top programs across the country. So for Wisconsin, are there any other California girls or any IE girls by chance?
No, it's just me.
Just you?
Yeah.
So between nationals and when you report to Wisconsin, how do you enjoy that time? Do you try to relax a little bit and still do your little off-season stuff, but try to chill out a little bit?
I'm actually going to be in Hawaii after nationals, so I'll have a nice relaxing 10 days on the beach, just laying back. And
then the real work's going to start, right? As soon as you report to...
Then the real world.
Well, Mattie, listen, again, congratulations on the scholarship to Wisconsin. It was a lot of fun covering you in high school. I know big things are still on the horizon with you and the Badgers. So congratulations and best of luck in the future.
Thank you so much.
That's Mattie Beliveau from Hillcrest High School going to Wisconsin on the Inland Sports Show. Inland Sports. Well, congratulations, Mattie. You know, if you've got another high school star out there, whether it's softball, baseball, whatever the case, make sure you hit us up on Inland Sports so we can share your story and do an interview right here on the show. Thanks again for staying up a little bit later than normal here on a Wednesday night as we're wrapping things up live at about 9 o'clock. And the show actually went extra long. We try to keep it around 55 minutes, and we're already about 120. So an extra long show tonight. But it might be the case as we lead into the high school football season. There's a lot to cover and talk about as we get ready for 2024. Big thanks to our guests, Coach Stangle at Redlands, Coach Agno at Aquinas, Geoff Gorham, of course, my compadre over at Riverside TV. And, of course, you just saw Mattie Beliveau, formerly of Hillcrest, and now going to be a Wisconsin Badger. Make sure you give this video a like, subscribe to the channel if you're a local business or organization that would like to promote on the show. Hit us up. That's inlandsportshow@gmail.com. My name is Pep Fernandez. God bless you guys. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time on your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show.